Make sure I'm on the right one. Let's screw this up. That should be it. Okay. Now I've got audio. Alright. It's my first time doing this streaming, so God help me. God help anybody who's coming in here to watch this. Adjust all this. Kind of get a rigging and everything, so. One other thing I want to find here. Got that for a second. And this is super, super professional, right? Should just do this. It's all nicely set up too. Got this here, my first one. Oh, maybe I'm looking at the right one. That won't help. I'm on a delay with that one. That's all right. I'm looking at stuff after I already fixed it. There we go. Okay. Thank you for being patient, anybody that's here. So what I'm going to basically be trying to pull off with this channel here, as I've been conceiving it and thinking about it, I generally am thinking about it as a kind of Bob Ross joy of painting, but a hell of a lot slower and a lot more profanity. So forgive me, it's going to be rough. I'm going to try to work all this out. Try to figure out how I'm going to start everything. For the most part, the way I'm going to do things, hopefully I can get a little better and figure out how to load this up before the next stream. When I'm working from a main subject that's right in front of me, I hope I can post a picture of what I'm working off of. My intention is not necessarily to always have you guys doing exactly what I'm doing. You know, if I'm doing a still life, my intention is, if you guys can, grab fruit or whatever I'm working on, work on it with me in that sense. I'm not going to be making landscapes from my imagination or anything like that, like Bob used to do. It's going to be stuff that's real. So in this case, what I'm working on tonight is actually off of a landscape of a photograph I took not far from my actual job. And so we're going to work off of that. It's not my preferred method of working on things, but the way I work with my normal job and everything, and commute and whatnot, I work with what I got. So this is what I can do for now. If I get to the point where I can paint outside again, like I used to a long time ago, then that's absolutely the way I'll end up going again. How I'll be able to do live streams of it, that's a whole other mess. But typically what I do when I'm working on a photo, try and get it over to the canvas. I'll measure out the photo as best I can to find my halfway points. Looks like we've got about 10 inches directly across. That's a nice easy one at least. And I break it out into quarters. So I'll eventually make a similar grid on the canvas, and then we'll break all that down. when I paint, in the case of this too, like, I'm not trying to get dead on to this. That's not my goal. I'm not going to be trying to make a perfect representation of this thing. More about the essence of it. That brief moment in time. Like on oh, there it is. Alright, I'll move this for a second. Alright. Good old trusty right edge. My intention on this, hopefully, is to, bring a little more artistic teaching back to this channel or so. So I've seen a couple stations on here on Twitch that they do live streaming and making art per se, but I don't think there's a whole lot of.
Just lose the Twitch. What happened there? Oh. Never mind. There we go. Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. Turn it off. Okay.
Hope this stays up. Sorry about that. Again, very professional. That's what I'm doing. I apologize. I'll get better eventually, I think. Not at painting, I suck at that. I've seen people, like I said, do original art online here on Twitch or sometimes on YouTube. And for the most part, I don't know if I see too much outside of outside of original, like, professional comic artists and stuff like that actually spend a little time trying to talk about the method of teaching it. Anybody not familiar with me?
Oh.
Anybody not familiar with me? That's, I'm assuming, everybody. I'm a graduate of the University of Arts, with a degree in Bachelor of Fine Arts, painting and drawing. My teachers very begrudgingly gave that to me. Had an interesting experience through college for the most part. But here, there are going to be a couple times I'm going to have to leave the site from here just because pencils tend to need a lot of sharpening.
So the canvas should be 24 by 30, as I recall.
Yep.
Now you never get it direct. Not the way I do it, at least. The way the canvas is going to have a little give. Most of it's still just estimating. Try to get it to eyeball it. Again, I'm not wholly interested in being exact. I went pretty close. I'd like you to be able to go find these places.
You wanted to find them and look at them yourself and tell that this is the place that I felt inspired to paint or whatever. And paint the portrait for
try to make it look like the person.
But again, I might not be interested in capturing the person. I may be more interested in trying to capture the light of that person. And those are technically, to me, very different things. So,
again, try to hit the right. Now, of course, my easel is covered with crap. So to try to get this perfect never quite works. But I'm coming into the halfway point. Did you guys hit the halfway point and finish the grid? Alright. That's what yell at me, tell me I'm being an idiot. Trying to be quicker about this than I normally am. Get to the meat and potatoes. As I said at the start of this will not be something where I'm going to bang out a painting in one episode here or whatever. Was it college? If it were college me, yeah, you probably could get that in just a few hours. You'd have this finished painting here. I'm not that fast anymore. I had to recoup from some mental stuff earlier in the year, and it's made me much more slow and methodic, primarily because I deal with a whole lot of doubt the whole time I'm working. I don't know if I did this right. I want to. It's close. It's meeting in the middle. I dropped it there, so I'm gonna have to give it the canvas face. But I'll be close. You know, and it's just like when you were a kid, if you did this Saturday morning, you know, draw this turtle or whatever. Coloring books have them, you know, draw it in the grid, and they have the grid there perfectly. Same concept. That's all there. And it's going to get stinky and noisy in here, I think. So once I get this on, once I get the drawing done, and maybe I'll save that for off camera. Just do the drawing tonight, and then maybe put something live on it. I'll be working out my Twitch schedule. I'll be honest, I'm still not 100% sure exactly when I'll be able to broadcast. Most times I think it's going to be 8 o'clock, 8:30 to 10:30, somewhere around there. Good enough. Let me sharpen up. I'll be right back. As time goes on, too, hopefully I'll be able to. I'll get some music or something I can compose to work on the background here. Work on that. Hopefully, like I said, I can get to people I know that are very good musicians. Maybe they'll give me something that I can use. I'm guessing that's supposed to show. So you can see where the black lines are, etc. Center point for me is just as good a place to start as any. You can see our bridge. There it goes, just above the arch. I'll just try to make some marks first to get an idea of where I'm going to be putting this stuff. So this grid down here. Looking English, just shy of the halfway point. Continue up, make sure we're kind of on par. Matching what we know. Now we got a lot of plants here. Kind of works out. Gives us a little place to hide. I don't know where the bridge goes with that, so having these little tree right off the edge of the water here, that site, that helps us out. It's funny, I had an art drawing teacher in college, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Rossman, who was very particular about making sure that, you know, he wanted you to draw to an absolute point of what was in front of you. And he did some pretty crazy exercises, which I used to swear off. It's very much about the emotion of it, not the, yeah. And yet I still find myself now doing a lot of his old techniques. So if Mr. Rossman ever stumbles upon one of these, I saw you last time I was at the University of Arts, passed by you. I had no idea who the hell I was. But if you ever stumble upon this, the old dog eventually learned your tricks to a degree. Still won't use them entirely, but I use a lot of them. It's a lot about methods of this to that to that to this, trying to figure it out, the distance. Got our arch in perspective. It's a kind of a funky bridge where this is. I'm trying to remember the name of the exact trail. It's like the Turbine Farm Trail. It used to be near my old office building, and it was the only place that I could find a little refuse from the nightmare that I called my job. So it was nice to be able to go right outside on a lunch break. Take a hike, quite literally. Find your way back towards like Winnie Mercer College. But they moved the office now and I'm nowhere near it. Where I am now, there is no trail, there's no natural elements. Little needed eraser. These things can just suck up tons of graphite and charcoal, and it's wonderful. No idea. Again, I'm going to apologize a lot tonight. I'm sorry. It's like being married. I'm sorry. You know, I'm no idea how this stuff is all working. I don't know if I'm live. I don't know if you guys can see me. I'll be honest. I'm hoping it works. I actually applied for a grant with the hope that this works. So I need to have a little bit in my background here so they can verify that I'm doing what I'm saying I'm going to do. My goal is then to, hopefully with grant money, be able to afford some better equipment so I'm not being forced to hang a camera on a lamp on a tripod over here. It's kind of half broken.
whatever. So. Back to there, but it's not that much. I'm not seeing a whole lot of this. This is the start of the other side. And that's not much of that. So I can see that. Like I was saying earlier, I have ADD, guys. My brain runs all over the place. As I was saying earlier, if I'm not intending you guys to paint like I'm painting. I like it to be where, hopefully, you can draw some inspiration off what I'm working on. If you want to work on the same, photo or still life that I'm working on, I hopefully can make that happen and make it so it's functional. Not seeing somewhere here where I could post a picture, so I'm not sure I can. I hope I can. But, I'll figure out something. I'll figure out something so you guys can get the, something I'll put in the chat or in the link or something. Once I figure it all out, and I'll throw up this picture before the next session, hopefully somewhere. But my goal is to, and I don't want you painting like I do. I want to have, like as if you're in art school. Not everybody's going to paint the same. If you try to make everybody paint the same, it's going to suck. I don't want you making the same happy little trees that I'm making and crap. Don't get me wrong. And I want to make this clear. I keep making jokes about Bob Ross, but I do it a lot. But I adore him. So I just want to make that absolutely clear. Was I a fan of always painting this kind of imaginary still life things, whatever, and that. But as far as a person teaching about art on TV, man, I don't think I'm ever going to get any better than that. So I just want to make that clear. But like I said, I don't want you guys following exactly. I want you to find your own path here a little bit, and hopefully, if I can, either directly off of here or through submissions later, maybe we can pop that up. See what I'm standing. Sit up for when I'm sitting, but stand a lot when I draw. But what I'd like is so that maybe every few sessions, instead of being actually focused on working on a direct painting, we could do some online critiquing or something. I'm not an asshole when I critique. I hope that's make that clear. I just want to let everybody know. I'm not a jerk off or anything like that. I tend to be someone who can look into painting, look into the work of somebody else. I usually get a pretty close idea of what that person was doing or going through. When they did, it was always a gift I had in college. It's a unique experience. There were a lot of teachers that kept trying to get me away from the style I painted. I painted a very post-impressionist Van Gogh style. I consider Van Gogh my master, so to speak. Trying to teach me about art from 100 years plus ago. But a lot of teachers, for some reason, just never wanted me to do it. They didn't want me to follow that path. So it pissed them off a lot whenever they do quarterly or every semester or do the end of the year, end of the semester critiques. And if they started writing on somebody and I saw something valued in their work, I would always make sure I jumped in and I had a number of my fellow students come up to me afterwards and they were just like, "Thank you! Like, you got what I was trying to put down there." And I was like, it's not incredibly difficult if you look at it. It's one of the reasons why I will say this, when it comes to art and my views on it, I preface, I'm not opposed to all abstractionists or anything like that, but for the most part I do tend to prefer more figurative work, basically because I view
painting and drawing as a language. All right, I am trying to talk to you through this, and if I'm trying to talk to you through this, I'd like you to at least have a starting point. It's like trying to speak another language. So if I'm if I'm trying to do something that's totally abstractionist, it's my language, so to speak, then it's me trying to talk to you right now, and I'm speaking French, but you only understand Korean. It ain't gonna work if we don't have something to point at and talk to. If I can point at an apple and tell you what that is, then you can understand. Oh, well, in my language, that's this, and that's how I like to view this. I have paintings that they may just be a landscape, so someone just looking at it roughly, but in that landscape, let's say I just finished one in January of a horse shed. In that horse shed, there's a lot of tangled brambles and stuff in the front of and there's a lot of craziness happening in the front of that painting. And the way I viewed it was a lot to deal with the mental issues that I had kind of gone through earlier in the year, or the year before, I should say. It seemed like that's really what I was kind of working on. It was like this, a little place of nature that I saw on my way into work every day, and I could only see it on my way in. I couldn't see it on the way out, because obviously the way the highway worked. But I pulled over one day, took a picture of it when there's a nice snowfall on it, and everything was fresh and clean, and so I did my painting off it. But there's these brambles in the way, and so I'm trying to talk to you a little bit about this mess that's in my head. You can see it in the mess in front of it. And that's kind of what I try to go for. I consider myself a symbolist who doesn't always use the same symbols as everybody else. But we get a starting point. We get somewhere where we can start talking together. Whether or not we're actually using whether or not we're using actually being able to talk to each other. I look at something from Van Gogh or from Monet or Millet, any of these guys, Delacroix. I can look at these guys and their work, and I can talk to them. I always say when I go to a museum, I'm going to go talk to my friends. So the ones I have. Anyway, but the idea to me is that 100 years ago plus, these guys are working, but I can tell what they're working on. I can tell what they're talking about. And that's how I view it, and that's what I view for this. You can sort of get that from some more modern art. There's some that, like, I'll say like Rothko. I'm a big fan of Rothko. And Rothko has this very subtle underlying rage to his work. Got sharp again. For a second. I'll hopefully hold this point. I got this headphones, so I don't know if anybody can. I'll hear a ping if anybody does do anything. But there's a subtle aggression to Rothko, and it's funny because a lot of people talk about how he's very peaceful. They like to sit in front of his, these squares, and that's it's resting for them. But for me, I see a bit more anger in his work. Those squares are not just peaceful little moments there. He's got aggressive brushstrokes in them. So if you sense calm, it's a false sense of calm, I think, in there that you're getting. And
and there are means and methods. What's the one? I have to remember to bring out my books in here. I have a notebook I keep with me whenever I go to the museums. There's some that, like when I go to the Modern Art, when I go to the Philadelphia Museum of Art, like I'll write notes and stuff of stuff that does actually jump out and gives me something to talk about. But I find it to be a lot fewer and far between. So like I said, I tend to fall more towards a big event. Because I want to be able to talk to people. I want them to be able to look at me, 100 years from now with no context. They don't take the audio tour. They can just look at the painting, kind of start to figure out something. It's another thing I want to do to this with this station, hopefully, with this channel. As time goes on, I'll pull up, maybe one day in between paintings or something. I can jump on here and we talk about other masterpieces, stuff from the works that I consider to be big works. I don't know if you guys can see. It's awfully small. I don't think it shows up. But on my wall here, I keep a lot of prints from various artists and stuff, shows I've been to and things. And it's, I could pop some of those on and we could talk about them. We get talking, let's talk about what I'm actually trying to pull off here. You see I'm doing a lot of main branches. Again, I'm just trying to get some stuff down. I don't really... If I try to go too deep, it's going to make it a mess, because once I go in here, the first thing I'm going to do is lay some sky almost entirely over all this. So I'll probably just keep these main branches visible, and then we'll go carving back into the sky past that. I just want to kind of have an idea of what I'm going to be doing when it comes to a brush stroke. Again, I do a heavy brush stroke. This is not going to be, I don't consider my work something that's going to be easy on your eye. I go out to fight you, so to speak. I do a lot of weird little things sometimes with color. That sends back to again, my study of Van Gogh, and I remember it was 98 or 99 when the Van Gogh's show came into Washington. They were renovating the Van Gogh Museum, and so they sent a lot of the paintings on tour. And me and my buddies went down to D.C. on a 4 a.m. train to wait out front of the National Gallery, freeze our asses off, just to get into the 10 o'clock grouping, because the 10:30 groupings you couldn't buy online. Not that you could buy them, they were all free anyway, but you couldn't get them online. You had to go and be at the museum in the morning. So we made sure we were in a decent spot to get in on those early entries. And while we were at that show, there's a couple paintings of Van Gogh's that I don't want to say I didn't like them. That's not right. But that's not. I always liked a lot of the stuff anyway. But when I would look at them in prints, I didn't think they were as good as other paintings that I had seen. And that's kind of an important thing to say, because once I saw them in life, it was a whole other ballgame. These were much better paintings in person than they ever were in prints. And I have the Van Gogh Complete Works that was given to me many years ago, and actually as a tip as a waiter, but a whole other story. But in that book, there's these prints, and I was like, these are good paintings, but they're not wow paintings. And I got down there, and as I said, I tend to curse a lot, and I curse a lot when I'm at a museum, especially if I'm seeing something new.
And there's this violet that Van Gogh uses. It's a very light violet. And it does not, at least not that I've ever seen, in any print that I've seen of these. And I've been looking and looking. Every now and then I pop them back on looking for these things, and I don't see it. And it doesn't show up right. It comes in as like almost a pale white, or like an off-white, I should say. Like, like you can tell there's a hint of something, but it's not. Bow! And that thing jumped out at me once we got down there. It was in a bunch of paintings. There was a bunch of paintings that I thought were okay paintings. And then once I saw it, I was like, holy shit, that changed the whole goddamn thing to me. And that's pretty much what I said. My buddy Bill can attest. The first time I saw it, I believe the words were motherfucker. Because it just shocked me so much. I had never, had no idea these colors were there. And totally changes the way that I, was thinking of stuff at the time. When I thought I was getting closer to understanding of his work. And it turns out I was way the fuck off. Again, sorry, profanity. Kids don't join my show. But the, or parents, parental guidance warnings or something. I don't know. Anyway, the, the point of the order is that because of that weird little purple, I throw that stuff in whenever I can. I try to drop in a little dash here or there, something that doesn't quite pop out at you if you were to look at it in a photo. I constantly tell people, I have a Facebook page. I've been running for a while now on my artwork, and I always tell people, if you get a chance, where my stuff's on display, go see it, because whatever you've seen on this page and these prints, and these photos I've taken, you ain't seen my stuff yet. You have no idea. I'm not trying to sound egotistical. It's just that I'm purposefully hiding stuff. I'm legitimately trying for you not to see it from the prints. I want you to go see my works when I've got them up. So like right now, I've got stuff at the Chester County Art Association in Exton, PA's, in the Exton Square Mall. And there's some of my paintings up there. There's 3 of them right now I'm taking down this Saturday. So if people haven't seen it, you gotta go see it, because it's different. It's not what you think it is. There's going to be stuff tucked away in some of these spots. I actually just did a portrait of my friend Bill's dog, Trixie, who passed away. And because this was my buddy Bill that I'd gone down to DC with, I made it a point, absolute must, that I had to put that violet in the painting. I had to put it in there. Just, I could see it very much in the spot that I was doing it. So, and I tend to put something here and then I'll echo it somewhere else later. So that's where I was getting a little more creative with what I was throwing in there. But it's very much about, like, dude, I want you to remember that feeling. I want you to have that feeling looking at that painting of his dog. Because I know for a fact that even though this is something that means a lot to his family, it's their dog that passed away, and they had dogs for a very long time. Paintings become paintings at some point. And what I mean by that is they just become wall art. I have a painting in my dining room of my pet fish that we had for, let's see, we had it for 4 years, I think. It was a goldfish my son wanted at a carnival. No goddamn way this thing should have lived as long as it did, but it did. And it fought through all sorts of weird diseases and stuff, and I adored this fish. And I painted it while it was still alive, and we hung it above the tank. And now that the fish has died, it held meaning for a little bit, but now it's like we go past that painting all the time, and I don't know if my kids even look at it unless we're specifically bringing up memories of an email or something. So, it goes by a lot. And my goal with the painting I did of Trixie is to force something in there that's gonna have our buddy Bill and his wife always questioning if there's something maybe they haven't seen just yet. You know, obviously it's gonna have the dog and it's gonna be part of it, but this could be like, oh, you know, I didn't notice this little Indian red color here or whatever. This, you know, I didn't notice this dash of blue in this part. You know, that little element. That's what I'm going for. Rocks, I'm gonna get this straight up again. Sharpening again. Be right back. But that kind of goes back to going back to the idea. Let's get this idea of this talking to each other in a way that, you know. That's one thing. Now it's down to the lower parts of the painting. This should work a little better. I got like there's a delay somewhere there. Go back to work and then let's figure out from there. Just getting through the delay. It's kind of a unique little bridge. And these little outcuts that you can go in there and you can stand like, you have like a little flip pedestal to stand up on there. Well, that's cool. I think that fits a lot. I despise my job, so it's like, you know, to not have somewhere to go and be able to mentally rest from customers and bosses and whatnot. It sucks. I do plan on leaving it shortly, and that may change things on how often I can post or whatever. Hopefully it doesn't do too much dramatic, but change to my current setup and time. That tells me I have one viewer. Is that me? Are you familiar with this stuff? I have no idea. I'll go as long as I can. Title. That's all closure. Painting for lunatics. You're really crazy when you paint like that. You're crazy when you be your teacher. That's gonna be a cool place to play with color. I should let everybody know, just as a forewarning again, I'm not expecting you to do what I do, but I want you to know, if you're trying to do what I do, that there's going to be some weird little things you're going to have to get used to the idea of. I swore off a long time ago, I mean a very long time ago, about using the color black. I don't use it, ever. You may say, well, how the hell do you do some dark stuff? Anything I use that's extremely dark tones is almost entirely made out of likely French ultramarine or phthalo blue, mixed in with maybe a little burnt sienna, maybe a little alizarin crimson in there. I've never, but I have not used black to create a change in tone in my artwork. Probably, let's see, probably since 1997. Sounds about right. 97, sounds about right. Maybe 98. It's going to be a lot of work. This is just a really foresty, wooded area. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world. There's going to be a lot of back and forth and working and reworking. So, like I said, if anybody's watching this and thinking that it's going to be a Bob Ross one and done thing, we're not doing it that way, man. This is going to be a hell of a long journey. I expect this painting to take probably easily near like 20 to 40 hours, somewhere in that range. I can't get more narrowed down than that, only because sometimes, as much as I try not to, I end up carrying work home with me in my head, and then it slows me up. So, there's going to be a lot of stuff, a lot of going on, Yeah, I can start taking with some of these grid lines, because they'll end up being kind of confusing to me. Like here, when I'm trying to figure out what's trees and what's grid line. I have on more than one occasion started painting a grid line, and I meant to follow a tree branch, so I try to get what I can. That's the nice thing about these kneaded erasers. You can fold them up and crunch them up and squish them to be as precise as you need them to. I just love to do that when I fight charcoal. It's about 9 o'clock. I do have to put my children to bed. But I do not go to bed easily. Daddy does not give me a kiss goodnight. debating on how I gotta handle that with these broadcasts. If I can make a like a screensaver or something. Full of sniffling, nothing's so I'm coming out from sinus infections now. It's been over a week since I worked and so I need to get back to it. But I'll give it a shot and get my first episode together. Okay. Okay. I'm still working all this out. I gotta figure stuff out here. Now, I won't lie, there's a good chance that every now and then I actually will do some gaming on this channel. I am really bad at Rocket League, so I like to, I've had a YouTube, my YouTube page, I've posted stuff, but it's not like a, commentary or live or anything like that, it's just usually there's a clip and then throw it up there. I don't do anything with it audio-wise for the in-game stuff. But maybe I'll give it a shot to stream on here. I know Rocket League's fading and it's not as popular as it was, but damn it all, I still do. Anybody who's questioning, like I said, I'm terrible on my Steam account. I'm Platinum 1 Division 2 now, I think. It's also terrible. My PS4 account, I think I'm Platinum 2 Division 2. I might be down to Division 1. I think I lost some. Oh no, down to Platinum 1 Division 4. That's where I lost a few games the other night. I had partners that literally came on and AFK'd. I could have killed them. As soon as I had gotten into it, a little bit of a win streak, I hit like 3 games in a row where I had a partner, drop out on me right after the game signed on. Let us be disadvantaged. I got triggered. Couldn't play with the damn after that. Then one game. Easily, it was an open net, should have been able to score it, no problem. Damn it off my car, and rubber band on me. Just, I'm down here like this, driving along, and it's going right at the net, and it's like, my car was like over here, and the ball goes that way. I was livid. announcements of everybody's making cracks on there. Like, oh, he's not gonna. It's like, no, it wasn't me. I swear to God, the car just moved. I'll do it again. All right. This little slapdash might be a little wild up there, but I think that's going to be all I need really to get it going. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but this bridge is going to have a lot of fun working on it. It's going to be rough. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a lot of little brushes. I use a double aught round for a lot of work nowadays. So again, really slow. I will apologize for that. Hopefully, especially once we get into the real meat and potatoes and stuff, you guys start to see what's happening here. You can dig it. If, like I said, when I start loading this, if I can figure out how to get this picture up with the video, anybody wants to ping along to this picture, dude, you blow ahead of me, get it done before me, awesome. Don't even think that you have to stick as slow as I'm going. Like I said, don't even try to do what I'm doing technique wise. I want you to do it yourself. Yeah. If you like it, you see from me, go for it. Try to explain what I'm using color wise as best I can, why I'm doing it as best I can. A lot of times it's just instinctual. It's just stuff that's in my head now. I say it a lot of times, and I think people think I'm joking, that when I look out at the world, especially once you start to see my style and how it looks, I do see things that way. Breaking down in my head everything that's going on. Like, is that exactly the image that comes through my eyes? No, that's not. That's not what I'm going. That's not what my meaning is about. What I mean is that usually I can look out at something, anything, and in my head I can put together that painting. As I said earlier about the mental stuff I'd gone through, that was the big problem, was that when I was going through that stuff, I couldn't see it. That ability to look out and see stuff I would do in various situations as far as the painting goes had vanished from me. And that's what led me to go a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Did not handle that well. Because at least at the time I wasn't painting, and at least it could kind of hold me over. Not to get too crude, but it's like, if when I was in college, I went through a considerable dry spell, we'll say, when it came to women. And so there's stuff you got to do to take care of, hold you over, And that's what it was. It's like that. And so that could hold me over from painting for a while, and it was going. A lot of concern about whether it would ever come back. Thankfully, with the help of medications and stuff, it did. I began fighting back, and
I got my eyes back. That sounds still funny to hear, but that's the way it was for me. Alright. So, let's see, how should I do this? I have to go upstairs and make my kids kisses. That's going to put me away from here for a little while, so I will be right back. I'm going to take a screenshot and go back to the future. Don't y'all go nowhere. There's nobody here.
Media source decoding error. Okay, what's that mean? We'll go dead. Am I not live? That's still up. Just out a little bit and cool my face. I don't know if you guys can see me now. There we go. Huh. That was interesting. Now it's finding out again. Huh. Interesting. Okay, keep getting hesitation here. I don't know if you guys are saying that. Again, whether there's anybody here, but nothing I'm aware of. That's unique. There's 19 views, so somebody's popped in here, I guess, on occasion. Alright? Everybody understand here? I don't know. Alright, so I guess we should start thinking about color, shouldn't we? So, now I'm going to hold this up. I'm going to wait for it a little bit. I'm going to try to see it. Good delay. That's good long. There we go. And it's stuck. I hope this is working. I have no goddamn clue. Alrighty. You guys gonna show me here? What the fuck you doing? I don't know what this is doing. I can't drop off the touch. So as I'm looking at this now, you guys can see, I'm looking at the stream, so it's gonna be past this I'm talking. I'm looking at this color that's on there. You guys can see, you can dig in after it, or go back and rewatch this, whatever. You got to think about the underpainting. The underpainting is where you got to do some tricks, because it's not going to be stuff, especially as thick as I paint. I tend to paint very, very thick. So I want to think about that. I want to think about how these colors that are going to be on the underlying part of things will play out in the painting. I mean, if you looked at that clip, if you were able to see the picture, it was just up a few moments ago. There's some definite, strong, light violet ceruleans in the, what I would put on the over part of the bridge there, the surface level of it. So we have to go deeper. With the trees, I might not go too crazy off script, so to speak. I might pull that out with some gradient. It's a tough debate here. So I want to. There's a whitewashing almost from the sun. Well, yeah, lens flare from the photo, but you take that part off. In my head, I can wipe that out in my mind. So I don't need that. I was there. I know what the sun's like there. So I can change that in my head a little bit. So I wonder if I use some gradient in there to make it like a deeper space. Once we start working into the branches and stuff, into the waves. Water's probably going to want to base it out. This
this and the pump. This sucks touching. Obviously, that's where we don't know the sky. We'll be able to think about that one too a little bit. Probably going to go into an ultra green. Maybe cobalt. Cobalt blue, probably. No, don't want to go too deep. There's trees. Look at the sunlight that's coming through those trees. I think I know how to do it. I think I used to work like this. Naples, not Naples. Like 30 miles out there like me. Alright, let me sort some shit here. I used to have my paints all nice and laid out for me now. And I spilled some the artist medium. I had to clean it all up and just shoved everything out of the way and put it back. I'll get there one day. Let's see what I want to do. What did this yellow for this? Tree. Cobalt. And that. The green's actually a little shadowy. I tend to keep my underpainting pretty simple. Don't go with a whole lot of colors. I'm going to build a whole bunch on top of it. Like I said, there's very little chance that there's going to be much of anything you're going to see from this. With the underpainting, once it's actually on the canvas, once everything else gets on top of it, it's more so for those little moments I miss. It'll become clear once I'm actually working that you actually see it. To get an idea of like the painting. Yeah, again, you'll see it because I do a lot of dashboards. Sometimes there's spots where the canvas will pop through. I try not to leave too much of it, just because. If the canvas was a little darker, like if I was using linens maybe, like a dark deeper linen color, I'd probably be alright with it. Yeah, you know, like we're doing, just, you know, let everything through. Let's see. Alright, so we're going to start off on our sky area with cobalt blue. Again, I'm going to try the artist medium. I use the ones of Newton's. Just doing some Grumbacher oil. Cousin Gary oil back. I don't use it too much. It's the oil too. Same thing, I just find the medium overall. It's just a nice mixture. You know, I try to be efficient with what I do. I don't necessarily, you know, the more stuff I can use without having to mix it and my own version of it or whatever, I go for that first. Only because, as you'll see, especially now that I'm working over periods of days as opposed to a period of hours, on something I find myself needing to
try to avoid remixing things as much as I can, because I use thick paint and I use a lot of it, and it's like if I'm in an area, I don't know why I have these things in because I'm not listening to myself. If I use thick, basically if I run out of paint, you know what I mean, like of something I've mixed up, I gotta mix it again. I gotta try to make it match. That's not hard, but it can be time suck. It's something that just I already got a paint that I'm taking longer on than I used to, and it makes me unhappy. And now it's like, now I got to do this other thing that's going to take longer and make me unhappy. And it's a little dab of turf. Let's get something. I don't know if we're going to go too heavy now. This is the thin part. This is the part that just give it a flavor. Welcome to Flavor Town. Population, not Guy Fieri. Just kidding. Actually, no. Seems to be a good guy, though. I was impressed with his restaurant in New York. I can't remember. This is how my brain works. Sorry. But like I said, I try to avoid having to mix and remix because I don't want to kill my time with it. So if I can. It's in a tube already, or in a jar already, whatever, I'm going to use that over having to mix something up. And if I mix something up, I'll mix a whole lot of it. I waste a lot of paint, I won't lie. That's another reason why I try to encourage anybody who's going to come to stumble upon these. Don't try to do what I do, because I'm wasteful and I'm stupid. I used to like to horrify a friend of mine in college who was always very conservative with his paints. He was very thin. He was an illustration major. I was going to high school with my friend Davin. And I used to basically make like a horror show for him, which was basically just make him watch me throw out my palette when I was done with the paint. Thick globs and all this crap. I was just like, I'm done! Don't need it anymore! And then I'd start immediately, because I was very fast in college. I do apologize. I'm going to keep apologizing, because it's like marriage. There you go, kids. Keys for a successful marriage. I apologize a lot. Anyway, even when you don't think you did anything. But I used to... I'd make him watch it before I was cleaning up at the end of the day. I'd be like, hey, I just got anything on my palette. Or whatever. Or if he was in between classes, he'd come up and hang out in my studio or whatever at college. And clean it up, and then I'd throw out the huge chunks of paint off my palette. And then I'd go and unload the same paint for the next paint. But, it was a mental refresh. I'm done with that part. I have to do the next part. So if I have the same paints, I can't mentally cut it off from each other. I can't, like I said, I'm quirky. I'm weird like that. I have all sorts of weird mental things sometimes when it comes to my work. I tend to only like something as I'm just about completing it. At some point during this painting, you will likely hear me tell you that I think it's a complete failure or it's about to fall into the abyss, and I'm going to end up destroying the canvas. Happens every time. At some point, right after I finish it, I'll tell you I hate it. Again, it's just part of my process, I guess, mentally. If I like it, then it doesn't make me continue on. by far, I think the weirdest connection I have, or I should say lack of a connection I have, is a painting I did of it's a hill off of I-476, which is the blue route for anybody from Pennsylvania, or from Philly area, I should say. So I did this, place where I would normally run into traffic. I took this picture, this nice little hill, with some trees on it, and it was a spot I'd hit traffic like every day. So it was like something that I had that on my way home, it gave me a place to kind of rest, again, from this normal job I have that I don't like. And it would stress me out, and especially once I started painting again, because I had stopped for a few years. And that story much later, I guess, once I actually have viewers. But I had I started working on this idea for this painting, and then when I actually started it, though, I couldn't focus on it. There was a lot of stuff going on at work. It was, as much as I tried to leave it at home, and that was the thing. This place that I was painting was a place where I would usually kind of be able to forget work for the day and just go on, and once I got home, I could get to work here, and capital work, I guess, capital W work. But irony is that once I started working on that painting, I was bringing shit home with me mentally, and I wasn't able to work on it. So all the stuff I normally do, I usually have music playing and stuff, and I can't because of Twitch rules and shit. I'm going to figure out my way around that eventually. But all the music I would normally listen to, I couldn't make. It wasn't working for me. Nothing was working. I was trying angry music. I was trying funky music. I was doing everything I could. And usually, when I find myself in that bad of a funk, I have to pull out some big guns. On the artistic side. So I went looking for Bach, what I find to be something that helps me nail down. But the Bach that I had on my phone, I've had for years, and that wasn't working for me earlier. So I went looking for other people, and I stumbled upon a violinist named Hilary Hahn, who was the artist in residency at Philadelphia. I had seen a commercial for her earlier that day, and I stumbled upon this album, said Hilary Hahn plays Bach. So I was like, all right, I want Bach, and I just saw a commercial for this person today. Give it a shot. And that's about the last memory I have of working on the painting. I turned that music on, and I was elsewhere. And when I would stop painting for the night, suddenly, there's more stuff on the canvas. And pretty much every night that I did it, I've started listening to other stuff from Hillary at the time. I was using her album in 27 pieces. There's another Bach one she had, a violin and voice. I was putting those basically all on repeat. I think it was just those three, I think. And I don't remember really working on the painting at all. I knew what I was doing, to a sense, once I got done. And so every night I'd post a picture of it or whatever, and tell people what was done, what I was planning to do the next day. But for the most part, I was just listening, and I was not running the game. So, and when I talk about this weird connection I have with my painting, this one I have no connection to. I'm actually been debating for a while now, and I probably am going to do it once I have some money to ship. I'm probably going to send the painting to like her agents or whatever, and just be like, give this to her, and just have a letter explaining what the hell, why I'm sending this painting of a hill with a tree on I-476 to someone who usually gets fan art. I'd be like, I know this isn't fan art. I know it's not you playing or anything like that, but here's what happened. Because I don't want it in my house. I don't want to show it or sell it because I don't feel like it's mine. It's a little odd, I guess, but that's the way I feel about it. It's not my work. I was a vessel, so to speak, but that's where it stopped.
have so many yellows, you guys want to believe it. Guidance too deep. It's bright. Yeah, I think that's not much. Alright, so like I said, that was Cobalt Blue up here, very thin to start. Like I said, it's my underpainting. Now we're going with Naples Yellow Deep for the underpainting for our tree area. And I wet down into the tree area, as you can see, hopefully. What will eventually be a lot of leaves again. I'll hold it up and hopefully everybody can see it. You know, we're going to have light coming through the trees. I mean, that's what it's going to be. I'll probably even go farther down once I actually start doing the overpaint. Just to give a little more of that flittering. Once I start them going on the trees, will already be there. It makes it easy. I say easy, it's thick, so it always nice. But we're looking for stuff that's going to be underneath of all this. There's a little hint of something better. There's my medium. Somebody popped in, but then somebody left. Alright, so we're just going to go in here. I thought I had a viewer. Damn it. I'll get there eventually. Hopefully you guys will stumble upon me and love me. So we'll just start here. There's going to be a whole hell of a lot of work to do. If you guys ever want to see kind of, you can kind of get an idea of where I get this idea about this type of underpainting. And you can usually get a sense of it out of someone like Monet. I've recently fallen in love with the National Gallery of Art's website, primarily because they have a picture viewer on there that, like, you can just zoom the hell in on everything. Ah, shit, I realized I didn't put the spray down on this again. My last painting I didn't do that on either. I got quick and I forgot. Actually, the painting before Trixie. And now I've got all this funk. Alright, we can live with it. We'll be alright. It's not the first time. I never sprayed when I was in college for a while and always made my way around it. Right. And it's okay, these things all just get smacked in together. It's more about these little elements. This sense of being in. Truth be told, there's going to be a couple spots where I'll still have canvas show through. And like I said, you can see all this stuff in the National Gallery's viewer. You look up someone like Monet, look up the Van Goghs that are there, you zoom in to a point that's how I like to look at paintings. I have a very, very, very nasty habit of getting yelled at museums by the security guards for getting too close to the paintings. And I don't think there's been a museum I've been to yet that I have not been yelled at about being too close to the paintings. I shared the story on my Facebook page a while back, but when I was 21, my family went to Las Vegas and went to the Bellagio. There's an art gallery in the Bellagio. And I caused it to go on lockdown because I was pointing something out to my mother, and I crossed over a laser grid, I guess they have there, that is to guard the paintings, and if you cross it, they go on lockdown. And so we went on lockdown, and it was a bad boo-boo on my part. My brother yelled immediately out, "Where's Brian?" So yeah. So the nice thing about the
National Gallery viewer, like I'm trying to get back to, is you can get hell close in there, as close as I would like to get, and you don't have to worry about the security guards yelling at you because it's online. Set it up that way. So, fuck them. But no, seriously, so you can get in there and you can look, really dig into some of these paintings and see bits of the technique. It's really astonishing sometimes. You can look at this stuff and you just go, you know, you get close enough to it, man, like something like, again, like a Van Gogh and Monet. You get close enough to it, and you are looking at abstract painting. You have no idea if you're not really looking at something absolutely identifiable at that close range, like a finger or something like that. You have no idea what you're looking at. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It gives you an idea of how. Going back to something I was talking about real early, you know, in this broadcast, was about talking. You know, you can talk with this abstraction idea, but you're starting off with something figurative. And that's why, like I said, why I've always had a heart for this kind of impressionistic style that I use. Will I always be this way? I don't know. I was thinking about stuff recently that I had a vision a while back, like a dream. It was a slight change in my art, but it was something that, had I been able to go right to work with, I might have shifted right then. But unfortunately, I got sick with the flu, and I got stuck out of my studio. I couldn't get in. I mean, I couldn't move. It was that Australian flu, and in the days it took to recover, I just never got it back in my head. It left me that day, and as hard as I tried, I couldn't grasp it again. It sucks I lost that. But I've been trying to figure out stuff that I'll eventually switch over to in my art style, with still learning, you know, using what I've learned from studying Van Gogh now all these years that I have. My other masters that I've studied under in my head, at least. Got too much blue on this damn palette, and now I don't have enough yellow. This should be fine. You know, we're gonna be loosey-goosey with this stuff. Again, I want to make it more where it's like flickering through. I might even go back with some of that blue, deepen it up in here, so that you have the shadows in the trees too. You know, it breaks through. You get that light popping out. You know, I mean, the pencil getting mixed in with the paints is working pretty well for that too. I don't tend to like to use my I think this is good for all the greenery. Maybe I should just use a full-on deep violet on that bridge. Still debating that bridge color. I don't want to bridge it, like the bridge, the undertone. I think it's going to be cobalt. Damn, that's a hell of a delay, isn't there? Wow, I'm sorry, just looking at this, like what the video feed's giving me now versus where I am. I mean, I'm looking at the video feed and I'm still seeing blank up here. Jesus. That's a hell of a delay. I hope this is working at least sort of well. I might have to switch it over to like YouTube Live or something, I don't know. I want to make it work here. I've seen other stuff here on Twitch and I don't know.
sure I'll know more once I hopefully pick up a few viewers and they can tell me when I'm fucking up and more stuff needs to be popped out. And I apologize for all the snifflings. Call me Sniffles. Remember Sniffles? Yeah, little mouse from pre-Bugs Bunny cartoons, or I was closer to that by now, right? But it was definitely when Warner Brothers was still trying to be pseudo Disney. With their shorts and that, they've actually cut loose and changed everything. Down here, so we're just going to try and smack a little. Oh, this brush. Keep this one going. So far behind. Sorry, just like fascinated by this. If this is what's going live with all this buffering and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if that's when it's buffering, if that's still going live with you guys, and it's just loading on my computer like a pain in the ass, or what. I'll get this eventually. Hopefully, I get some good equipment eventually. Probably need to figure out a way to run an actual hard line to here. That's the difficult part. I'm trying to work with Wi-Fi, or maybe get a Wi-Fi amplifier. That might work. I'll keep things smooth here. Yikes! Choppy, choppy, choppy. Oh, I hope this is how it looks for you guys. God damn. Oh, good. What kind of moron puts iron in the water? I'm telling you, it'll make sense. That's choppy and loading again. Christ. I don't know what that is. I don't know, that just took me off. I have no idea. I gotta figure this stuff out. Yeah, what's this one? I don't understand what I'm looking at. Do not know what I'm looking at. I don't know if I just disconnected or what. I hope you guys see this stuff.
And that's smoother than what it was looking like. It still looks choppy and long. Like I said, I know there's nobody really here right now. That's alright. I'm not hurt. No, I'm kidding. I'm hurt a lot. No, no, I know. It's my first freaking broadcast, dude. Nobody knows me. That's alright. I need to change my Steam name to advertise my channel. That's what a lot of people do, right? It does not sound happy, though, that's for sure. Like I said, I've applied for a grant that's supposed to be very focused on art study. So hopefully this is still streaming, you guys can hear this. But that's the primary focus of it. They want people that are either still in college or still learning the arts, or some way, you know, in some way, shape, or form. That's how they put it. So you don't have to be in school still. They want you to still consider yourself a student. And I still do consider myself a student, even though my plan here is to technically teach a bit about art. I still very much consider myself a student. I will probably consider myself a student. I've referred a few times on this broadcast that I consider Van Gogh my master. I'm an apprentice to him. How I viewed it. I've always viewed myself with him. I don't think I'll ever mentally get out of that, with the exception of, like, the Van Gogh Museum. I think it has to be done. I don't think they're working in the museum. I think it has to be Van Gogh Museum. Were to, like, buy a piece of mine or whatever and put it in their permanent collection for artists inspired by or whatever, because I know they have something like that there. At that point, I'd likely say I've transitioned from apprentice to master, and I can now be hanging next to my master, so it switches me out in my head. Downside is I don't know what the hell happens to my life after that. I don't know if I can handle it. So I've thoroughly, long since, lived with the idea that if there's any hope for my art to be well known, it is likely well after I have died. So, and I'm not considering that a horrible thing. It's not terrible. It's not something, some people might think that, you didn't get anything out of it in your life, but that's not right. Well, there is a great deal about this which is about expressing myself. It's a lot about expressing myself to tell the world about stuff. I know I'm jabbering on. I don't normally talk when I paint, so this is kind of a new world for me. I'm trying to make sure it stays at least sort of interesting, since I have no background music or anything else to work with right now. Trying to keep you at least with the audio. Otherwise I get silent. unless it gets screwed up. And then I'll start swearing like a sailor. And that'd be fun. Kids of all ages love that. Okay, there's a little bit of, let's see what back here catches that right too. Yeah. So we're gonna catch that back there. Oh, did I just jack that? Okay. Stuck in the cord. Thank God I have the camera that much. I'm sorry, I'm just going to try to look at the actual. So this is okay. I didn't focus. I don't know. Focus. I don't know, whatever. You guys will tell me. I'm trying to work with this thing as much as I can. It's pretty cheap shit, unfortunately. That's what I have to work with. Also, I'm trying to put. God, that heater's probably sounding like terrible, right? I'm sorry. So we're still in the middle of like third winter here in Pennsylvania. You know, 60-some degrees today, but then the wind started and turn that down. Off. Should help reduce the sound. There's still like a steady something there. Just be the computer. Alright. So we gotta think a little bit here. Let's think about what we're doing here. We gotta think about. Still gotta figure out that bridge. Figure out that bridge. Put a little bit of blue to the areas in the trees. I think once we get our underpainting done, call it a night. Not too much more to go. Start to sketch out a little bit too. We're going to need to do that eventually. I got the Barnes Foundation not long after I had my breakdown last year, and in front of a Saison, it was a still life. And it was when I really noticed that he never really seemed to draw, at least from what I could tell, with any charcoal or anything, graphite or anything, before he started painting. It looked like he just took very thin paint, right up on the canvas, and he built it as he was going, and I was amazed by that. I don't think I'd have the balls to that. It's certainly not now. When I was younger, I tried to learn how to draw. Just draw with straight pen, no pencil down beforehand. A lot of times because it was about learning to trust my brush stroke. So I was figuring if I could draw something in pen, then I could technically go up with a blank canvas. Nothing there beforehand, and just slap shit on there and get it to work. And maybe I'll go back to those lessons at some point, try to do it again. It was a hell of a long experiment for a while, and I did a portrait of my wife when we were dating still. It was a portrait of her sleeping. I had taken some photos with the intention to make
a very, very large and, you know, impressive piece. Actually, I had this like 5 foot across canvas or something like that. It's huge. It's ridiculously huge. But before I did it, I said I wanted to make sure that the portrait was so as close as I could get it. You know, because this is the woman I was in love with. And, you know, I still do love her, but at the time, you know, I'm trying to make this ultimate expression and, you know, something to share with people for preferably decades and centuries after I'm gone. And so I wanted to make sure it was dead accurate as close as I could. So I did probably along the lines of like 15 to 20 drawings that I considered viable drawings. There were a lot that got thrown out too. All in pen. Never once put pencil onto the paper. And then I did a little study just of her face and paint, and that's now hanging at my in-laws' house, as well as one of the drawings. In fact, it's probably the only drawing that's still alive. Whatever. That survived. My parents' basement used to be prone to flooding, so all of my stuff was in their basement, and then hurricane comes and basement floods out, and yeah, poof goes my drawings. So there's not much left of those studies, and I think that's part of what helped kill that mental movement for me. Was it's like every time I did it, and I'm feeling a little bit proud of the accomplishment, something come along and wipe them all away. So maybe one day I'll try it again. Unfortunately, I moved into this house, you know, and like a year after we moved in, our hot water heater blew out, flooded my basement and my studio area. That sucked. So I have this weird love-hate relationship with water. I love to, you know, if I'm on a boat, like go whale watch or something like that, I love being out on a boat. You know, do I know how to sail or anything like that? No fucking clue. But I just love the feel of, you know, ocean air and shit. And at the same point, you know, the idea of water in my house drives me nuts. So yeah, the second I even think about it, I start getting tense, and I have a leaky area in my basement, my basement window. I'm constantly fighting it. You know, if it starts winning, sometimes it gets a little, you know, a little water gets in there. Oh my god, I go nuts. Definitely a love heat thing going on there. Love to paint it. Then I get some neat effects out of it. God damn, do I hate my house. Let's put a little bit of that way. It's going to make it very muddy, but that's alright. It's muddy wood. So a little orange going back the other way. Spot on. We're just going to trails of that light will flicker back and forth. Get that back up. Focus. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Alright. Oh yeah. Let's see. Which brush? Let's see. I don't need too many brushes. Let's see what this shot. Do you have kind of a mental thing regarding how my brushes become mine, so to speak. I had some brushes that were given to me by my cousin. We'd taken a painting class when he was in college, and he didn't need them afterwards, so he decided to take up the art. Good on him. He had it ruin his life, like it's done mine a number of times. More so just by being consumed by it. Times when I should be thinking of other things, and all I can think about is the painting. But so he gave me his brushes, but I tried to use them right off the bat, and I couldn't, and I realized that I had to beat them into submission. So I went through with some of my brush cleaner and stuff, and I made them solely work on underpainting stuff, so I can smack them around like this. Bend them to my will. And again, I know that's crazy. I know that's stupid. The inanimate objects, they don't need to be beaten and broken, but I mean they do. It's like a, it's like a horse, or whatever. Like you gotta train it, or something. So you gotta, know how to get them under control. Not saying you should beat horses. Don't. That's not what I meant. That was wrong. That's not the way I meant to put it. But it's like you gotta train them. You can't just. I can never pull a brush out from fresh purchase and just have it work. It doesn't do that for me. It's probably all psychological and crazy, but you know what? It works for me. I've long lived under the lesson I've gotten from the Vonna song Territorial Pistons, which is just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. Kind of same concept. Sure, they're inanimate objects. They have no thoughts, feelings, emotions, whatever. But mentally, I gotta get them under my control. Or they won't work. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of branches here. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we can screw around with. They don't have to be, all over, dead on. Even something goes astray. Bob used to make the old, Bob Ross used to make the old happy little accidents. That is sort of accurate. On my Facebook feed once I pointed out how I had some, I was working on this painting of some boats in Boston Harbor, and done all this work with this cerulean blue into the for the water. It was just the base tone above the underpainting, and I just wanted to get that down. And then the next day I came in to do all my dash work, all the important little over stuff that I do, and the paint had dried. And for me, I mix a lot on canvas. It's all, like so if I do something, I like to get the little variations that occur on canvas. Well, when the paint's dried, you don't get that variation. And so as I was pointing out to people, Bob said there were no accidents, it was all happy little accidents, whatever. And this is not a fucking happy little accident. So expect stuff like that from me as this goes on. Not just this painting, but if I get to keep this thing going. I won't do it during critiques. Like I said, if I get to that point where I can start having you guys paint and show me stuff, and then I can work on critiquing it, I will not be too profane. I'm a fair critiquer, and not a critic. There's a difference, I think. Critic is just going to be a sour motherfucker, unless they're a sellout. Critiquer is a different art form.
think that was one of my big issues I had when I was back in college. I had a lot of people that were critics. I did not have many people that were critiquers.
Those that were critiquers, I got along with fine.
Those that were critics, I had all sorts of issues with. And the best part of my battles with some of the teaching staff for the painting department at the University of Arts back then, it's a completely different staff now, so everybody's aware. Everybody I knew retired or died, unfortunately. But the teaching staff there, whatever, a lot of them I butt heads with. They give me crap on my paintings, whatever, blah blah blah. I ended up winning the Roman Haas Fine Arts Achievement Award, which is a pretty prestigious award there in the city of Philadelphia. They only give it to one student in each of the schools. So there's one student that got it from the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. So one student who got it from the Art Institute of Philadelphia. One person got it from the Tyler School of Art, and one person got it from the University of the Arts, and that was me. Right. So every year they do that, and then they have this luncheon for all the winners. And my teacher's senior year had just torn apart in my senior critique the painting that ended up winning. I mean, he ripped it to shreds. He did all this, didn't work. It was, color and balance, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. I mean, he went after the thing, and this painting ends up winning one of the hardest awards to win in the school, because it's not awarded by the school. It's awarded by an outside company. They have someone come in every year and they pick one piece, and they go through the whole school. So with the University of Arts, you're not just talking about painting and drawing that are being chosen for this. You're talking about sculpture. You're talking about graphic design. You're talking about illustration. You're talking about jewelry making, jewelry meters. You're talking about ceramics. You're talking, every single major you can have at the University of Arts gets looked at, and one piece is picked from all those from the seniors, and mine won. God, did it feel good to throw that in their face. Oh, it's so nice. Because then at the luncheon, my teacher's there, and he leans over to me and he goes, "You know what I love about this piece?" And before he could tell me, I looked him dead in the face, and I said, "This is not your award." I said, "You just ripped this painting apart." I said, "You could have told me what you loved about this piece in my critique. Because you don't have to just be an asshole when you..." I didn't say that part, but in my head, I did think that part. But you don't have to be an asshole when you give a critique. You can say something that needs to be worked on and needs to be fixed, and then tell them there's something you like about it. This is all good enough. This guy just never did that part until now we're in this luncheon. And I told him, I said, "This is not your department's award. You guys fought me tooth and nail the whole time here to get me away from doing this. If I had listened to them, I never would have made that painting the way I did. And thusly, would not have won that award." So I told him, I said, "You guys fought me, and it's only out of spite and my own bullheadedness that I won this award. You don't get to be part of this success." I admit, as an asshole maneuver on my part, but at the same point, felt justified in it. Because, I wasn't wrong. They really did try repeatedly, at least, I shouldn't say all. I had a teacher, Jerry Nichols, that I truly got along with. And he spoke to me about my work.
That's a very important way to distinguish this. He spoke to me knowing what I was going for and trying to
Point out things that would help me along the way. Not just telling me to do something else. He'd point out artists that I might like that had a similar kind of idea and concept
behind it, and I would listen to him because of the way he would talk to me about it. Talk to me like a grown-up. Whereas these guys
were douches to me throughout, my career there.
I did not. And like I said, was it a 100% accurate way I should have done it?
No, I don't know. I felt good though. It made it nice to be able to just kind of let loose.
So I'd already got my degree, I already had all it done, so
All I wanted to do was just let them know
I did it. They didn't do it.
if they had had Jerry there, maybe I would have had a different opinion, but Jerry was on sabbatical at the time, doing studies overseas. So,
Oh well. They sent somebody else. They sent somebody to go along with me. That's their problem.
nowadays, I'll be honest, I don't know who's teaching there. I stopped there at the same time that I had gone to that Barnes, as I mentioned earlier, on the Barnes Foundation, and I went to the University of Arts just to wander the hallways again and look to see what the other students are doing and stuff. And totally different staff, totally different vibe to the place too, which I really liked. When I went to school, a lot of us were all very, I was probably the messiest, if I had to be honest. I hate being honest, but I was probably the messiest. And the way I kept my studio, a lot of people were very, very neat, and it bothered me to a degree, because it was like, dude, we're making art, for lack of a better term, we're slapping dirt and ground up material that's mixed with oil onto the canvas. We just slap shit on there, making it work. I mean, even if you're painting in a realistic style, you're still just slapping shit onto a canvas and making it see what happens. Like, make a mess. That's our job, And when I went to the University of Arts to visit, I said last year, it was like a totally different thing. Everybody was messy. It was great. I mean, I could barely walk through the junior studios. I wandered through the hall. It was like total. I mean, I know people that I went to school with. I probably would have had a heart attack just looking at the way the students had their shit set up. I was absolutely enamored with it. We loved it to death. Who's going to stick straight forward? Straight forward, cold, okay. Did I not tell you guys anything? I'm trying to. If I didn't tell you the color, I apologize. Azo orange was the orange we were using in this. Viridian, again, I'm thinning the hell out of it right now for the underpainting. And again, all the blue you see is cobalt blue. And this is probably about as complicated as I get for my underpainting. I usually about 4 or 5 colors at most. Might overlap them, but for the most part, this is it for underpainting. We'll get this done and then we call it a night. And there's spots where, there's some wood or leaves or whatever, that, and not moss, it's like ferns or something here. It's kind of looking, it's holding onto the edge of the bridge here, popping up over, and, but we're just going to paint right through it. We're not going to worry about that stuff too much. We're just going to get stuff on canvas right now. Get it over and done with. Get the color in there. And I'll probably just leave where the highlight is on top of it. Just leave it big. Because it's with that, I don't know, with that graphite not being secured down, it's going to make a mess no matter what I do. I screwed up on that part. That's my bad. So if you haven't been following along right on time with me, or just watching, or thinking about starting the painting later, make sure between the time you put the pencil down, you use a fixative. You'll save yourself a huge pain in the ass later, because this will be a problem for the rest of this painting. It will cause me issues for the rest of this, unfortunately. Anywhere you can see it, I'll start. Anywhere I got heavy with the pencil, that's going to give me trouble. Sometimes I went heavier because I need to redo something or rewrite it and rewrite it. And I don't have it. So. There's your first painting tip. Don't be an idiot like me. It's probably the most important painting tip you'll ever learn. Kind of lesson I try to teach my children, sort of. For the most part, when it comes to, and this will sound very strange coming from me, but for the most part, when it comes to art and my children, I don't want to say that I discourage them or dissuade them from it. I try to make it clear to them that I want them to appreciate art. I want them to know it. I want them to be able to look at a painting and museum and sculptures and all that, and be able to understand it and you know, have it enrich them, enrich their lives. And I want them to, if they want to make something and create, to do so. But what I want them to do is to not let it consume them like it did me. You know, if someone asks me what I am as in a career, I tell them I'm an artist. You know, in my head, even though I don't make much money off of this, I very rarely make anything actually, I am an artist. When I die, I have no issues. If no one that I ever worked with at my jobs ever gave a shit and showed up at my funeral, I mean, that stuff, I don't care. But I don't care whether people think when I die that I was a terrible employee or whatever. I don't care. That's not my mentality. I work so that I paraphrase Gustav Mahler, and he was conducting the Vienna Orchestra. He said, "I conduct so that I can live, and I live to compose." And that's pretty much the same mentality. You know, I work to live, but I live to paint. And you know, it's a hard way to have your life. So I don't want them to have to go through those struggles. They all have artistic abilities. My oldest, who's 21, she's always had a great ability with like raw graphic design. She can draw fonts and stuff. Like I never could, believe it or not. One thing I suck at. Could not draw letters to make them look nice and attractive. you know, like I have horrible handwriting,
and when it comes to trying to draw a logo,